far now.
Dad, where is this park?
Looks kind of closed.
Make summer fun with a Mini Cooper Countryman for $199 a month and $44.80 due at signing at Mini of Portland.
Giving back to the community is very important to our family.
Help the Portland community and buy your 50/50 raffle tickets at every Timbers and Thorns home game. As a current board member of AC Portland, I know they're making a difference in the community through sports and education. 50% of the jackpot benefits Active Children Portland and the Stand Together Fields for All program. To participate, look for the 50/50 signs at home games and visit timbers.com/50/50 for more information.
Pilots with numbers. Rapino sees it, and it's in!
Evans, tee it up. Shot on target. What a goal! Thorns looking to cross. Let's go. It's off the clear. Right at the keeper, and then Christian puts it away.
You have fun, you will win, and you'll make me very, very happy.
It's not far now.
Dad, where is this park?
Looks kind of closed.
Make summer fun with a Mini Cooper Countryman for $199 a month and $44.80 due at signing at Mini of Portland.
It's a beautiful evening at Providence Park in Portland, Oregon, as English Premiership side Newcastle United comes to town to take on the Portland Timbers 2 of the USL in a friendly match tonight. Good evening and welcome to Providence Park. I'm Jake Zivin alongside Ross Smith. Ross, we get to see fantastic soccer matches on a weekly basis here at Providence Park, but when a Premiership side comes to town, it's still a little special.
Well, this is Newcastle United. This is a massive club, and right away when you think about Newcastle, you think the history. And I look at Alan Shearer, Peter Beardsley, Les Ferdinand. These are massive, legendary players, and so Newcastle coming in tonight, everybody is aware just the magnitude of it. The fact that they play in arguably what is the top tier in the league. And so them coming in tonight, it's not just an experience for the players on the pitch, but also for fans that support Newcastle at a distance, for them to see their players up close and personal.
Newcastle United, a team, the club that's been around since the 19th century. Portland Timbers 2 in its first year as a developmental aid in the Portland Timbers organization. What has it brought to the organization?
Well, I think it's the opportunity that players don't have to go away from the Timbers atmosphere, from the environment, from the culture to go get games. It's a platform for players to develop, and you think of past years, perhaps if players weren't getting the game or young players coming in, they had to go away. But now they're under the watchful eye, they're under the system, they're under the focus of the first team manager. They have a chance to prove the manager just the pitch next door to it, that if they're doing well, they're saying, getting a tap on the shoulder saying, go jump in them with the first team.
And I'm sure tonight a really special experience for some of the young guys like Carlton Belmar, Renico Clark, Fatau, who we'll talk about throughout this broadcast. As a player for the Timbers, you got to play against Manchester City in a friendly in 2010. How did you approach that match?
Well, I think as a player, you always want to test yourself to see where you are on the world stage compared to the top talent that's out there. And so coming into a match for players, they're going to be looking to see, okay, how do I rate against these players who are week in, week out, playing against the Chelseas, the Man United, the Liverpools? They're playing against top-level, world-class players. And so for the ego, it's an opportunity to test yourself, to have that benchmark, but as well, it's an opportunity to, again, impress, not only for the first-team manager, but for people who are tuning in to watch the game, because as a player, you never know. You never know who's watching.
Ross, I think for a lot of people, this may be their first time watching watching T2 today as we see them coming out now. Jake Gleason, a Portland Timbers player, G. Anderson. Some of these guys fans will be familiar with because they play for the MLS side. Some of the other ones, maybe their first time seeing them. A guy like Carlton Belmar, 9 goals in USL play. Who's impressed you from this T2 team this year?
Well, I think there's a handful of players that have really stood out and are knocking on that door, saying to the first team manager, Caleb Porter, that I'm worthy of a first team spot. I look at Manning, who we've just seen, Toma on the left side, George Fashive, who's had a few games for the first team and done very well, and Carlton Belmar, as you mentioned. He's a player that's got pace, that can run in behind, he's explosive. So right the way through that spine of the team, you have young talent there that Caleb Porter is showing. If you're doing well, you're going to get involved with training, and guys like George Fashive, you're doing well, you're going to get a game.
We'll go over the entire starting 11 for T2 for Newcastle United as well. But first, the national anthem, two national anthems tonight. Our singer, Naomi La Violette.
La Violette, who will honor us with her rendition of God Save the Queen, followed by the Star Spangled Banner.
God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen, God save the Queen. Send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the Queen. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
An enthusiastic crowd here at Providence Park, as always. The starting lineups for tonight's match will begin with Portland Timbers 2 head coach Jay Vidovich will put out these 11. Ross, a 4-2-3-1, just like the first team plays, and a lineup that is going to have a lot of familiar names to people who've watched T2 this season.
Yep, and a familiar style to what you'll see with the first team, that 4-2-3-1. Look for those fullbacks to join in. Andy Toma, Taylor Pay, right side, left side. They'll look to join in the attack. Carlton Belmar, he's got pace. He'll look to stretch that back line, and then look for Mikey Nanshoff just in that number 10 position, playing off Belmar for him to get in the ball, getting turned towards goal, trying to find those passes to slip in.
For Newcastle United, also a 4-2-3-1 from Steve McLaren's side. Maybe some guys playing out of position as you'd expect, Ross, in a final friendly match of a preseason tour overseas.
Well, results do matter in a way, but when it comes to preseason, I don't think the manager will be too concerned. Yeah, you want the good feel at the end of the match to come away with a win, but what matters most is for the manager, Steve McLaren, to see what players are going to fit in what position come the start of their Premiership season. So it's about seeing relationships. It's about testing players in different positions, because perhaps you may unearth a little surprise. You might find a little gem.
Jorginho Wijnaldum, one of the big money signings for Newcastle in this offseason, making his first start of any kind for Newcastle United. He debuted against Sacramento Republic on Saturday, came in off the bench. Michael Nanchoff, the captain for T2 tonight. Moussa Sissoko, the captain for Newcastle United. Ross, if you're T2, how do you want to start this match?
I think you're waiting to see what sort of talent you're up against, because it's one thing watching on the TV, it's one thing following the team as close as you may if you follow the Premiership and, of course, Newcastle through the years. But it's that first 10, 15 minutes to say, okay, what are they about? I think you're always alert in the mind when you come up against the team that there's a reason why they play in the Premiership, that they have an extra gear. And it's giving credit, it's giving respect to it, but at the same time, being able to go out and express yourself.
Newcastle United finished in 15th place in the Premier League table last season, avoided a possible relegation scare on the last day of the season when they beat West Ham United 2-0. And maybe some discontent among the fan base, I think, higher expectations than what they achieved last year.
Well, a lot of discontent towards the owner, Mike Ashley, and I think the discontent comes from them not spending. Years and years, the amount of money that's coming into the club, the support, 52,000 plus at St. James Park, that the club hasn't really gone out and spent in recent years. And so the message was to the owner, Mike Ashley, we're supporting the club. Give us something to support. Steve McLaren coming in, who's got a tremendous pedigree, a bit of an iffy time throughout his career, but you can't argue his history, having coached alongside Alex Ferguson, coached for England, coached for Derby last season. And so I think there's a lot of excitement perhaps around this team coming into this season.
We're underway now at Providence Park, Portland Timbers 2 and Newcastle United. Newcastle, Ross, what's their mentality in a friendly match like this in the preseason?
Find your touch, find your fitness, and above all else, come away unscathed. You look at it tonight, the results don't matter. So for the Newcastle team, and so going into it, if you got a 50-50 challenge, you're going to come away from it. But at the end of the day, it's to find that rhythm of your play.
Carlton Belmar showing off his speed. He's a guy that can cause problems to back lines in the USL. We'll see how he handles some Premiership center backs today, but creating a turnover there. Andy Toma on the left side. It's out for a T2 throw. First time that we've seen Andy Toma play on the left side in a while. He's naturally a left-sided player. Has been getting work on the right side as Fatau sends a shot wide. They're working on his versatility, and that's something that at this T2 level, if Andy Toma can create versatility as an outside back on both sides, he can be more attractive to the first team.
That's just it. I think you see in this day and age the quality players and the number of players at every position that you want to be able to be in the manager's mind for several different positions, and you want to show that you're versatile. Andy Toma coming in, there's a buzz about this player, and I think the buzz comes from his willingness to learn, his athleticism, but his IQ for the game. And that left back is such an important position for the first team. You have to be able to join in. You have to have the engine to get up, but as well get back and defend 1v1.
Couple guys tonight playing in a different position maybe than you normally see them. Gianderson comes to mind on the right side, normally a left-sided player, left back for the first team, played against Philadelphia Union a week and a half ago. Playing on the right side of the attack for T2 today. He's a guy who can get forward. And Newcastle coming forward now. Moussa Sissoko. No one's there, and Beazle sends it clear.
Good pace by Sissoko to get to the end line and just looking to square it back to the penalty box, but Beazler don't want to take any risks, just get something on it, clear the danger.
Nick Beazler, the 5th overall pick of the 2015 Super Draft, has appeared 15 times for Timbers 2 in the USL. Yet to make his first team debut. Jose Perez looking for Sissoko on the back post, a little too far. Moussa Sissoko has scored the only goal for Newcastle United from a Newcastle United player on this trip to the U.S. Scored in the 45th minute against Club Atlas on July 14th in Milwaukee in a 2-1 loss. In their 1-0 win over Sacramento on Saturday, it was an own goal from Sac Republic's James Kiffey that was the difference. Rolando Aarons, normally an attacking player, starting at left back today. Sends a dangerous ball to the back post, but again, out for a goal kick.
Well, it's a couple of times now. Crosses coming in from the left side. And the good crosses. They're testing the back four of the Timbers too, just to see, okay, what are you about? That's what you look for at the start of the match, just to test the nerves of the youngsters.
Newcastle has certainly had more of the possession in the early going, as you'd probably expect from a Premier League side. Jake Gleason, a familiar face, not just to T2 fans, but certainly to Timbers fans, and he's familiar with playing here at Providence Park. Started the first ever MLS match for the Timbers in 2011. And a memorable night, rainy night, and a giveaway from Newcastle. Gianderson, normally a left-sided player, playing on the right. Awkward clearance from Darlow. A left-sided player like Gianderson, Ross, when you put him on the right, what does that do to a defense?
Well, it's an inverted winger, so what you're looking for from a Gianderson would be to cut inside. And when he does, that opens up space. It drags players with you and allows a player like a Taylor Pay at right back to join in, to overlap.
George Foshive wins the ball in the midfield for T2. Foshive has played quite a bit for the first team this year. 5 appearances for the Timbers in MLS play. Giveaway by T2. Aarons overlapping. Gets around Gianderson. Rolando Aarons. Driven cross, and the opener for Newcastle United. Georginio Wijnaldum. Just signed a week ago from PSV Eindhoven, and he has scored his first for Newcastle.
Well, it's the third time for Newcastle coming down the left side. The Timbers too, they needed to heat the one in, but wasn't enough as they saw the cross come in. Wijnaldum is able to find a little bit of space. As Aarons, he continues to prod that left-hand side, and again he goes past Gianderson with rather ease. Picks up his head, and Wijnaldum in space just has to use the pace on the ball to direct his foot, open it up, and guide it beyond Jake Gleason.
And Ronaldo Aarons, normally an attacking player, certainly looking comfortable coming forward. And you mentioned spending, Ross, Newcastle. Well, they're spent this offseason. Georginio Wijnaldum, the third most expensive player they've ever bought. The two ahead of him, Michael Owen and Alan Shearer. It's good company to be in.
Good company, a lot of pressure, having those names to come along, and the expectations that will come with Newcastle and the fan support. And you just look at the style of play that Steve McLaren has set out for tonight. Again, he could be tinkering just a little bit just to see what matches his team, but it looks to be a 4-1-4-1. But the full-backs, they're bombing on. Early on, they're looking to split the center-backs when they get the ball. You got Abid just slotting in right in between the center backs to pick up the ball, deep line center midfielder, but then the fullbacks are pushing so high up the pitch.
T2 in a 1-0 hole. Does that shake the confidence of a young group playing against a Premier League side?
Yep, and I think we just seen it there with the pass back, and Gleason just looking a little nervy, and will be right the way through the team. You see the communication breakdown between Manning and Foshive. But again, it's getting to that second win, getting into that groove, realizing that you can go toe-to-toe with these players. At least having that belief. You talk about signings. One player coming into tonight, I was looking forward to seeing in front is Cisse. He's a player that was brought on a few years ago, and he's a player that came out of the gates absolutely flying. And to the point of one goal of the year for the BBC against Chelsea a few years back, and it's a spectacular piece of play. But he's gone quiet. He's gone off the boil in the last season. Injuries to account for that. But I think he's one for the Newcastle fans and for the team to look upon for goals.
He scored 11 goals in his first 10 Premier League matches. A fantastic goal scoring rate. He's on the ball now in the box. Wijnaldum, another chance, maybe at the back post. Taylor Pay for Timbers 2, defends and plays it out.
You talk about Cissé's goals. It was such a deadly combination with Demba Ba, who then got transferred on to Chelsea. But the two of them together, at the time, they couldn't stop scoring for Alan Pardew.
Cissé, 34 goals in the Premier League for Newcastle United over the past few seasons. Best goal scorer on this team, at least historically. They just signed a striker today. 20-year-old Serbian Aleksandar Mitrovic. 4th largest transfer in club history, behind Michael Owen, Alan Shearer, and Jorginho Wijnaldum.
Well, I think it shows that the owner is willing to listen to the fans, that the fans had done their protesting towards the end of the season when John Carver was in the hot seat, and the fans speaking out about that. And so the owner is turning around with Steve McLaren to show that they're going to start to bring these top quality players in.
McBeezer called for the foul. Jonderson was in there as well. Sissoko trying to get around Toma. This is a little better now from T2. Some sustained possession. Jonderson looking direct for Carlton Belmar. It was defended well by Lubomir Satka. Now it's Fatal, not afraid to shoot from distance. Instead lays off to Belmar.
Well, Fatal, we thought about it as the ball shot up nicely, but when he had a second look up, perhaps realizing a bit too far away from goal to have a hit.
He scored from distance this year for T2. Belmar in a foot race forces Ferguson to play it out. Had a stunning goal against Vancouver 2 weeks ago from distance. Scored again against Vancouver on Sunday night. One of multiple players on this team for T2 that went 90 minutes just 48 hours ago against Vancouver Whitecaps FC2. Nanchoff in the box. That's off of him. It'll be a goal kick for Newcastle.
That's just it. You have to wonder with the players how leggy they are, how much of that game is still in their legs, and you work it out. You work it out your system. You realize that occasions such as this to play against Premiership players doesn't come along too often.
Jake Gleason, Andy Toma, Taylor Pay, George Foshive, Carlton Belmar, and Jonderson all played 90 minutes in that match. Fatal played 88 minutes in that match. Sunday night, a 4-2 win for T2 over Whitecaps FC2. Feeling is it's the best performance that they've had this season. They've been very good at home at Merlo Field. And here's a chance maybe for Belmar. T2's leading scorer. Belmar gets saved. Follow-up Fatal levels the match.
Well, it's a horrible mistake by the centre-back, Saka. Whether it's the slip, whether it's the misjudgment of the ball, but it's the pace of Belmar that takes him beyond. At first, a great save by Darlow, who stands up tall, comes out, he reacts well to keep himself big, but credit to Fatal, because he follows up the place, he keeps his head, and just picks his spot to guide it home. And you talk about the Timbers finding their way into the match. But what a way to get your goal. Young players, you have that confidence in front of this crowd. All of a sudden, your game lifts, and those nerves, they start to go out.
You mentioned after the goal that it could cause some nerves. It could cause the team to be shaky. I imagine scoring, responding like this really settles the team down. For Fatau, his 4th straight match with the goal. He had scored in 3 straight USL matches. And he is in pretty fine goal scoring form now. Drive from distance, a try from distance for Cisse.
Well, I think what you have when the nerves are in you, at times you just need to put that ball into the channels. You just need to help it on and let Belmar go chasing it. No need to get your foot on the ball, try those intricate passes. We see Newcastle, they're flooding the midfield, and so just stretch that back line. Perhaps there's a mistake, and as it turns out, was a mistake. It was a costly one as Belmar was quickly pouncing on. You've got to give credit to him to reading the situation, for gambling, and then taking advantage going through.
We know Belmar has pace at the USL level that causes all sorts of problems. We get a chance tonight to see how it translates against the Premier League side.
That's just it. And Ferguson, I thought did well because he caught a yard or two, but it wasn't enough for him to throw Belmar completely off. Yeah, he got a strike away, and he forced Belmar into taking a strike, you could say, rather early on. If he could have had an extra touch, maybe rounded Darlow. But yeah, it was enough that he was able to keep somewhat that separation.
As we'll see tonight, and if you watch T2 on a regular basis, you see the staple of Carlton Belmar's game is his speed, is kind of his tenacity, his work rate up top. A guy that will always chase after balls, always chase after goalkeepers and center backs.
Well, I call those strikers, they're busy, they're relentless. And all game long, you could think in the 85th minute that you could just casually go to the channel to gather the ball for a clearance if you're a center back, and then all of a sudden they're nipping in behind you, getting a touch and going through on goal. They're busy and they're relentless, and they stay in the mind the entire game. That for me is Carlton Belmar.
Multiple times this season has created a goal just like that, and used his pace to help set up the first goal of the match for Timbers too. Nick Beasley gives it away. Ayosi Perez trying to turn. Renico Clark called for the foul. And a chance now for Newcastle to probably have a hit on goal.
Well, I think this is where you perhaps see the standard of the Premiership coming in.
Yeah.
40 yards from goal. They'll be looking at that thinking this is a valuable chance for them to at least test the keeper.
Biggie Rimana tries it, hits it right into the wall. Abade sends it back into the box. Perez on his right foot. Gleason parries it away. First big save of the match from Jake Gleason.
Well, it's a few times that we've seen Perez. He likes to cut onto that favored right foot. It was an awful mistake.
Pay did well just to get a foot to it. T2 having trouble clearing it.
Going back to Perez, he could just see from our angle the way he's opened up, and he's looking to shape it up to Gleason's left side of the goal. But Gleason doing what? Not only to get a hand on it, but to parry it enough with enough power to get it away from danger.
Ayosi Perez, 7 goals last season in the Premiership. The Newcastle's Young Player of the Year, 2014-2015 season. Turns 22 next week. Spanish forward. On the ball now. Aarons set up the first goal from the left side for Newcastle. It's dispossessed by Nick Beasley. He does well to get it to Gianderson.
When I look back to playing against Man City a few years ago, what stood out to me with the fans' appreciation. Every tackle you won, any time that you sussed out their attack, the fans applauded. And just there, where Beasler's won the challenge back, you heard an applause from the fans. They realized that T2, they're perhaps up against it in terms of magnitude of players, but they also appreciate that every little bit that you do, every little tackle won, that it deserves recognition.
Johan Gouffran, one-on-one with the young right back Taylor Pay. Pay did well to play that out for a corner.
Talk about youngsters getting opportunity, and this man, Taylor Pay, had his first start of MLS season against the Philadelphia Union just over a week ago at the right back's position. And again, it's a youngster who can hone in on his craft at the T2 level, and then when the opportunity comes, if you're proving yourself, to have that with the first team.
Gleason punches the corner clear.
Nice and confident from the netman that made his decision early, came out, there was no question in his mind.
Guys like Jake Gleason, Taylor Pay, are good examples, I think, Ross, of the positive side of T2. Last season, Jake Gleason played in Sacramento all year under a different system. They were very successful, won the USL championship, but he was away from this club all season long. Taylor Pay spent most of the year with OC Blues. Now they get to do it, they get to develop here in Portland. Pay again, sends it out for a corner.
2 times in a row that Pay, his 1v1 defending, has been asked about to see how he could do, and both times getting it right, making sure he times to run, and when the cross is coming in, to get his block there.
Mehdi Abid takes this corner short. Aarons to the back post. Cisse brings it down. Gianderson does well to play it out for a throw, and off of Cisse. Cisse. Back to Biggie Romana, now Abid. Pay wins that header over Perez, and that's a nutmeg from Andy Toma on Gael Biggie Romana.
Well, the difference is Pay now, he's getting touch tight to his man, he's getting his distances right.
Nick Beasler draws the foul. 21 minutes into this match, Ross. How do you think T2 has handled the task at hand playing against the Premiership side?
You have to give them credit because they found their way back into the game. Anytime you come up against Newcastle, what you're saying first and foremost, don't give a goal away. Coming up against such a big club, first 15-20 minutes, can we keep a clean sheet? And so when they go down so early on, you think Newcastle could go on and get 2 or 3. So not only did they stop the bleeding, they got themselves back in the game. So you give credit to their character. And you can see now as they're settling into the game, the organization, they're getting there. I mentioned with Pay, the distances right the way through the team, the structure, the 2 defensive midfield blocks for Shivi and Beasley, starting to protect that back 4. And again, just getting that second win and settling in.
Belmar always chasing. Almost got there. No foul call, and it'll be a throw-in for T2.
He's done well. Done it all on his own. He's put pressure from the front.
So what he brings, we see that on the USL level. It seems, Ross, that that's a trait that really will translate no matter who you're playing against.
Yep, it does. You do need your team to come and support you, because if you're chasing on your own, you do come up against a Newcastle who can, when they're in season, you have to remember, fully fit, they'll just pop it around you. So you have to make sure that your whole team is coming up with you, because if you're chasing just on your own, it's going to be a lost cause. That's where you talk about hunting in packs.
T2 has some big center backs, targets for Michael Nanshoff. Anthony Manning, Renico Clark come forward. And it's Anthony Manning, and it's a 2-1 T2 lead.
What a marvelous ball this is from Mikey Nanchoff. He takes advantage of Carlton Belmore's hard work to win the ball back. And when they get it, it's a threatening ball that goes in. I just wondered, could Darlow have come for this ball? It's hanging up there. It's on the edge of the 6. It's probably one that the keeper could come and punch. It's going back towards their own goal, the Newcastle defense, but take nothing away from Manny because he gets up above everybody else. Still a lot to do, gets the connection, and steers it just by Darlow.
This is certainly a dream start for T2 Ross after going down a goal very early to come back and get 2 and take the lead. And if there's one thing, looking at this match on paper, T2 has quite the height advantage. You saw it there. Shane Ferguson starting at center back for Newcastle United is just 5 feet 9 inches tall. Lubomir Satka, the other center back, 6'2". T2's center backs, Renico Clark and Anthony Manning, are both 6'4". Taylor Pay is 6'2". They have that size advantage.
It's the way they're breeding the modern day player nowadays. It's the height, the physique, the athleticism. You see it on both sides.
This back line for T2 today is, I think, the back line that was envisioned for Timbers 2 this season. Pay on the right, Clark and Manning in the center, Andy Toma on the left. Haven't played together much. Anthony Manning has been battling injuries, missed a couple months after getting a concussion. This is actually his return to the pitch, and what a way to come back with a goal against the Premier League side. Taylor Pay's been up with the first team, but tonight we're seeing kind of the first choice back line for T2.
Well, it's an exciting time for the Timbers organization with T2, but 4 players. And we talked about it in the opening with opportunity, and Anthony Manning will know. He went across on the trip to Philadelphia last week with MLS. He sat on the bench, didn't get time in, but what that did was give him an opportunity to see how the first team handles going into matches, how players are in the locker room beforehand, what the speech is, how they're warming up. And so Anthony Manning, it's a boost. It's a boost for youngsters to go in, and you see it tonight. Him coming up there, winning that towering header, the confidence in a youngster, how that will translate for the rest of his match.
He's a 22-year-old, went to St. Louis University. 3rd round draft pick from the Timbers in the 2015 Super Draft. Originally signed with Timbers 2, is now signed to the Timbers, the first team. Has not appeared for the first team. As I mentioned, he's returning after 2 weeks away after suffering a concussion. May 16th, the last time he played in a competitive match. And another giveaway forced. Nanchoff looking through for Gianderson. Cut off well by Ferguson.
You can see the confidence growing, and when they got the foot on the ball, they're pressing, they're making sure that Newcastle don't have that time to knock the ball around, but when they press, the willingness of Timbers get forward.
Gleason is off his line. Around the keeper goes Sissoko, but it's sent clear by T2's back line. Gleason looked unsure what to do there, Ross. It ended up working.
Well, it didn't quite come off for him in terms of winning the ball, but what he has done is forced an extra touch, forced his players then to get back into an area where they can help out support. And as we see Beasley getting that valuable intervention, getting that touch.
Shane Ferguson, 24-year-old. Will take this corner kick, again playing center back tonight. A little bit out of position for him. Referee Levi Rippey having a talk with Gianderson and Cissek. Gleason punches clear. Second ball in from Ferguson. Finally, Clark gets it clear. And now Fatau can maybe start a break.
What's impressed me early on in this match is the athleticism of T2. And yeah, Newcastle are in preseason, so they do have a few weeks to get their fitness up before the season starts. But you look at the T2 athleticism and right the way around the park that they're getting up to speed now. They're starting to match runs. They're starting to stay level.
Gianderson wins another throw. Anderson has now appeared 3 times for the Timbers. Made his first start against Philadelphia on July 11th. 7 times for T2 as well in USL play. Goal and an assist for Timbers too. Boshive turns well. Nanchoff was in an offside position. And that's going to be a corner kick for T2, their first of the match.
It's a moment for Nanchoff to put the ball in a dangerous area. On the last free kick going in to the towering Clark and Manning. If you're a Newcastle defender, you're a little bit nervous seeing those big men come up.
Again to the back post. This time it's Clark that heads it down and Pay puts it in. It's 3-1 for T2.
Well, and yet again, it's a delightful darting ball from Nanchoff, who puts the ball into a great area, hangs it up and says, all right, big man, go and win it. And as you see, Clark just rises above his defender. Pay, screening the goalkeeper, does well to keep his head, get on the half turn and blast the ball into the back of the net.
You mentioned it earlier, Ross, after going down 1-0 within the first few minutes of the match, you thought, man, the floodgates could open maybe Newcastle United's way, but this response from T2, it's what I know Jay Vidovic is regardless of whether or not it's a friendly, he's going to be happy with this. They did the same thing on Sunday night against Vancouver just 48 hours ago. Robert Earnshaw, a Premier League veteran of his own, a 9th-minute goal to put Vancouver up 1-0. They came back and won 4-2.
Well, I always think, no matter what league, no matter what team, set pieces, it's a leveler. It's an opportunity to get the ball in the box, and you never know what happens. And we've seen it last 2 occasions when Nanchoff, he recognizes that, and he's put 2 incredible balls in that are tough to deal with as a defense. We talk about the players wanting to test themselves against this top caliber Newcastle side. It's also for the manager and the coaches, just to see tactics, just to see in-game moments. Are they able to adapt their team? Are they able to adjust? Are they able to get in their players' heads to calm them down? It's a competition between the managers of T2 and Newcastle all the same.
And now a set piece for Newcastle. Well, we have seen certainly the better team tonight on set pieces has been Timbers 2. Flick to the near post. Nanchoff will get it clear. I spoke with Jay Vidovic earlier today about managing against a Premier League side, Ross. And what he was most looking forward to is just seeing this level. The way he put it to me was that if he learns what this level is like, then he can be better at helping his players maybe one day get to this level.
I think any player will tell you, any manager, any coach will tell you, they're never the finished product. Like, you're always looking to get ideas from other people. You're looking to push yourself, because in this day and age, the way football goes, 1 minute you could be flying high, but you never know what's coming up right behind you. And Jay Vidovic, him saying that, it'll be an opportunity for him just to see the technical ability, the athleticism of these Premiership players, but to see it when you're on the pitch down level. It's one thing being in the stands, but then you're right on the sidelines. It's a different game.
Patel wins it in the midfield for T2. Picks out Belmar. Lays it off for Beasler. Tries from distance. Darlow has to go down and make a save. Nick Beasler still looking for his first goal for T2.
Now we're starting to see the combination play. Again, a level of confidence as the ball pops into Belmar. It's a good first touch, and then just sets it in the path for Belmar to take a hit on.
Perez turns, and Beasler broke it up. It's certainly been entertaining tonight. T2 went down a goal early in the opening minutes of this match, and have come back with 3, including 2 off set pieces. Clark steps up to win a ball at midfield.
Again, how these players are going into the match, Jake. You see Clark stepping in, whereas before perhaps he'd be a bit nervous going in.
And now Toma overlapping with some confidence. Finds Nanchoff, drives it into the back post. You can feel the confidence in T2.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're Steve McLaren, you're the coach on the sidelines, now you're saying to your men, get close to Nanchoff, because every time he's gotten on the half turn now, his confidence is there, because set pieces, the delivery's been spot on. Now he's just able to pick out his players.
The most veteran of the players on the pitch for T2. Oldest one age-wise, most experienced as well. Played in 21 MLS matches. Has appeared 3 times this season for the Timbers, 5 times for Timbers 2. Scored a brace against Tulsa. He was coming back from hernia surgery. We've always known he's got that left foot. He's shown it off a couple times today. Now Pay overlapping, getting into the attack. No one there. That's handled easily by Newcastle. Very nice move from Sissoko, but it's out for a T2 throw.
We think back to the first 10 minutes of the match when Newcastle were able to get down the right flanks and left flanks, whether it's Perez on the left side, Sissoko down the right. Timbers have done a good job to make sure that's been shored up since.
Taylor Pay and Andy Tome were the 2 outside backs. Played their college ball together at the University of Washington. We're also second-round picks in consecutive years. That's a nifty touch from Gianderson. Almost found Belmar. Probably pretty cool for Taylor Pay and Andy Toma to think that just 2 years ago they were partnering together on the Washington Huskies back line in NCAA Division I. And tonight, partnering together against the Premier League side.
You're always amazed by the journeys that you take as a footballer, and I don't think I've ever met one player who said that they could predict where things would take them, for better or for worse. And those two, that situation, it certainly is a positive to see where they're at just now. You see the tendency for the Newcastle players to roam around in the midfield, and in this instance we see Sissoko coming nearest to us on the left side. Perez swapping him, going to the right perhaps, just to see if they can have any luck against opposite fullbacks.
Belmar's offside, the flag's up. Good experience, I imagine, for the T2 players as well, to get a different look, to have a switch like that happen in a match against the talent that they're going up against today.
Yeah, it's an experience. It's an opportunity to learn, to improve, to see what different players are about.
Ferguson takes out Sissoko now. Cisse. Manning to the feet of Belmar. Combination from T2.
I just wonder, Jake, whether the players on the pitch, whether it's a little difficult to see the difference between the kits. It's very clear on the monitors and what viewers will see, but in terms of being on the pitch, perhaps the kits, because there's been a couple of times Newcastle players that the pass has been so off, and how technical they are. From up here, there's a couple of times where the players, you could quickly miscue them.
Look at the speed from Belmar, getting behind Shane Ferguson, a Premier League player, cutting inside and then hitting it over the bar. Belmar has been lively as we're used to seeing him in the USL.
Again, Belmar does well to leave the channel open and space to run into, and as he does, he's thinking one thing: can I get inside the box? Can I cut in? He's already been a baller to Ferguson, and on that occasion just shifts it to his left foot, but couldn't settle the ball enough to steer it towards target.
Naturally a right-footed player, scores most of his goals that way.
I talk about the similarities in the kit. In the US Open Cup, the Timbers against Seattle Sounders, if you remember at halftime that Ziggy Schmidt, the manager for Seattle Sounders, he switched the kits, and I was at the game watching it, and while there I thought there is trouble to distinguish between the two sides, and surely enough at halftime they came out wearing different colors.
And as a player, you know, it's something that watching a match you might think that's overblown, but as a player it's legitimate.
Makes a difference at this level.
Manning heads that clear for 2-2.
It makes a difference because at this level all it takes sometimes is half a second to find that pass, and if you take more than a half a second it could close. So if you have to take a second look up, moment could be gone.
Here comes Belmar all by himself in the box. Beasler now comes to help. Lays it off to Gianderson. For Shive, he has some time. Thought about a shot, I think. Instead, holds on to the ball. Maybe holds on to it a little too long. He's dispossessed by Giorgino Wijnaldum.
Well, he missed an opportunity because for Shive, he can hit those. You've seen it with the first team. Think back to the Vancouver Whitecaps where he's won a ball in a challenge 35 yards out, and he's hit a great strike against the goalkeeper Ousted. And at that moment there, he had it from 30 yards out. Perhaps needed the curler to get around the block.
I will say about 48 hours ago, maybe this is on his mind against Whitecaps FC2. He put one across the street behind Merlot Field into the houses. Maybe thinking of that as he lined up the shot a moment ago. Calm play from the Timbers, 2 in the back.
If you're Jay Vidovich and coaches Steve Reese and Andrew Gregg, you're happy for your team just to keep the ball down. Be 3-1 up. Let's keep the ball. Let's knock it around.
Great touch from Nanchoff. Beasler can't keep it in. And Nanchoff called for the foul.
Just looking down on the pitch straight with Steve McLaren having a word with what I believe is his assistant, Paul Simpson. Just trying to figure things out. Just having a word to a couple of players just to perhaps say, sure your legs are ready for halftime. Again, it's about managing players' time and making sure that they're ramping up towards the start of the season.
If you're Steve McLaren, does this concern you?
No. I think at the end of the day, you look at it and you're trying different things out. I mean, of course it does at 3-1 down to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, he knows what matters is when you're back in the Premiership, when the first whistle blows, where points are on the line, where they matter. That's when it really counts.
Certainly playing players out of position as well. On the back line, 3 players, 5'9" or smaller. 2 of the goals have been on set pieces. T2 maybe trying for another in the run of play. Fatau. T2 looks confident and patient in the build-up. That's a giveaway by Fatau. Embiid will come forward. And maybe he thought that Taylor Pay was Musa Sissoko. Newcastle in the preseason, and they just played on Saturday night as well against Sacramento Republic. Belmar trying to get around Sotka, was unable to. Darlow gets it. And they're in preseason. T2 played on Sunday night, 48 hours ago, but they're in the middle of their season. Certainly a difference probably in the fitness level between these two squads.
Yeah, mid-season. Going past that mid-season mark rather, and also you have to remember the youngsters. It's amazing how you can regenerate, how you recover, and in this day and age with the fitness, with the the amount of thought that goes into recovery, drinks, nutrition, that you shouldn't think there'd be too much of a hangover from the match. Maybe towards the 75th minute, you start going further, then it becomes a question of character and grinding it out.
Only 2 players on the pitch for T2 today over the age of 23. Jake Gleason is one of them. He's the goalkeeper. He's 25. Michael Nanchoff, the only field player over 23, 26-year-old. Set piece now for Newcastle. Driven into the box, fell to the back post, and that was missed. An opportunity for Sissoko.
Well, there was a threatening ball from the centre-back for today, Ferguson, and you can see Sissoko just pulls away from Taylor Pay. He's had that separation, but for him, he was anticipating perhaps Pay winning the ball and enough to throw him off.
So the first half winds down, Ross. This has got to be about as good as Timbers 2 and Jay Vidovic could have hoped for.
Yep. I think he'll be most impressed with the way that they came back after 1-0 down, thinking team perhaps looks a little bit nervy, looks a little out of sorts, the way that they found the foothold in this match.
Newcastle took a 1-0 lead early. Georgino Wijnaldum scored his first, just joined the squad a week ago. He was signed a couple days before their Sacramento match, joined the team in Sacramento, making his first start for the Magpies tonight. Got his goal early, but T2 responded. A goal in the 13th from Fatau after a giveaway. There's another giveaway by Newcastle. And we'll get another dangerous free kick as the first half comes to an end. And they've already scored twice, Ross, off set pieces.
Well, Newcastle, they're looking to play. And you think about, if that's regular season, the Saka, does he just let it go? Does he just bomb it forward, realizing near the end of the half, instead he's trying to play out. He gets caught, causes a foul, and now an opportunity for the Timbers.
Again, it's Clark, Manning, the 6'4" center backs in the box. Taylor Pay at 6'2" there as well. Nanchoff and Fatau over the ball. It'll be Nanchoff again, and it's Manning again! And he put that one just wide. And that's the final kick, final touch of the first half. Couldn't have gone much better for Portland Timbers 2. A 3-1 lead over Premiership side Newcastle United at halftime. Another big match coming up tomorrow night here at Providence Park. When we come back, we'll tell you about that. Later on, Ross breaks down the first half at halftime. Portland Timbers 2, 3, Newcastle United 1.
You don't need a little black dress, or fancy reservations, or even an apron. All you need for this gourmet meal is a preheated oven and a comfy spot on the couch. Home-baked Papa Murphy's Herb Chicken Mediterranean Delight with fresh spinach, chicken, feta, and sun-dried tomatoes on a crispy thin crust. Just $10 for a large. Fresh made, fresh baked. Papa Murphy's. Love at 425 degrees.
Not far now.
Dad, where is this park?
Looks kind of closed.
Make summer fun with a Mini Cooper Countryman for $1.99 a month and $44.80 due at signing at Mini of Portland.
If you be my star, I'll be your sky. You can hide underneath me and come out at night. When I turn jet black and you show off your light, I live to let you shine. I live to let
You have no idea how your health rolls out in waves of good. Providence.
far now.
Dad, where is this park?
Looks kind of closed.
Make summer fun with a Mini Cooper Countryman for $1.99 a month and $44.80 due at signing at Mini of Portland.
It was a dream first half for Portland Timbers to a 3-1 lead over Newcastle United at Providence Park. And another big match tomorrow night here at Providence Park. The Portland Thorns playing their first home match since the Women's World Cup, the return of all 9 Portland Thorns that participated in the Women's World Cup up in Canada, including a pair of world champions, Tobin Heath and Alex Morgan. We'll be here at Providence Park tomorrow night as the Thorns take on Seattle Reign. An NWSL attendance record is expected. We spoke with the Thorns about their anticipation for tomorrow night's match.
It is going to be fun. I mean, we've already heard the numbers. We're so excited about it. It's not surprising with the fans we've got here, but it's going to be a special match, especially against Seattle, who's our rival, I guess, and a tough opponent. And like you said, we need the points, so we're hoping for a big game.
I don't think there's a feeling quite like playing here than anywhere else in the world. And I think when you're playing for your country, there's one feeling, but for this club there's so much pride because there's so many people that care about it, and you just don't want to let anyone down, so you want to turn up and make sure that you're playing at 100% every single time so that you can do your best for these fans, because they give so much, and they make us feel so welcome every time we step onto the field, so we want to do our best for them.
We just talked about the arena that they're going to be playing in, and you know, there's not one arena in the world for women's professional sports that is like this. You might get Wimbledon, but it's one person playing in it. You might get the US Open, there's one person playing. But this is the only team venue, team arena where you can get this in women's sports throughout the world. And they've got this chance to do it Wednesday and another 3 times, and hopefully a few more times after that. But what more of an arena can you ask for than this Wednesday night?
It really is an incredible arena for women's sports, women's soccer. This is going to be buzzing tomorrow night. Providence Park, a sellout is expected. It's possible it would set an NWSL attendance record when the Portland Thorns host the Seattle Reign tomorrow night, 7 p.m. There are still a few tickets available, so if you want to be here, go to portlandthornsfc.com to welcome back the Portland Thorns Women's World Cup players, including world champions Tobin Heath and Alex Morgan. It's tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Portland Thorns and Seattle Reign. Well, the fans here tonight at Providence Park have certainly had a lot to cheer for. 3 goals for Timbers 2 in the first half, and T2 with a 3-1 lead over Newcastle United. First half highlights, and Ross Smith breaks down the first 45 minutes when we come back from Providence Park.
Giving back to the community is very important to our family.
Help the Portland community and buy your 50-50 raffle tickets at every Timbers and Thorns home game. As a current board member of AC Portland, I know they're making a difference in the community through sports and education. 50% of the jackpot benefits Active Children Portland and the Stand Together Fields for All program. To participate, look for the 50-50 signs at home games and visit timbers.com/5050 for more information.
You don't need a little black dress, or fancy reservations, or even an apron. All you need for this gourmet meal is a preheated oven and a comfy spot on the couch. Home-baked Papa Murphy's Herb Chicken Mediterranean Delight with fresh spinach, chicken, feta, and sun-dried tomatoes on a crispy thin crust. Just $10 for a large. Fresh made, fresh baked. Papa Murphy's. Love at 425 degrees.
Pilots with numbers. Rapino sees it, and it's in!
Up to Evans. Tee it up. Shot on target. What a goal! Thorns looking to cross. Let's go. In front. Clear. Right at the keeper. And then Christian puts it away.
You have fun, you will win, and you'll make me very, very happy.
It's not far now.
Dad, where is this park?
Mike's kind of closed.
Make summer fun with a Mini Cooper Countryman for $199 a month and $44.80 due at signing at Mini of Portland.
Welcome back to Providence Park. Portland Timbers 2, a 3-1 lead over Newcastle United at halftime. Quite a showing for the young boys of T2 against the English Premiership side Newcastle United. Jake Sivan alongside Ross Smith. Ross, what a first half that was for T2. We'll go right to the highlights because there were a lot of them for the home side, Portland Timbers 2. But it started out really well for Newcastle United in the 6th minute right away, and it was their big signing, Georgino Wijnaldum, that got things going for Newcastle United.
Yeah, well, it was the way that Newcastle tested the T2 backline. They were getting in the wide areas and whipping balls in. There was 3-4 occasions where T2, early on, they were having to defend. And once that goal went, you thought, could this be the Premiership side just going away with the game? But the T2, credit to them, they hung in, they found their way back in the game. And I always think, if you can test the backline of the opposition, just put a ball in there, see what can come of it, and that's what happened. It's an awful mistake by Saka, as Carlton Bermo pounces on it and then ends up with Fatau, who does well to keep his composure, keep his head, and tuck the ball home.
And then this moment, Jake Leeson keeping it a 1-1 game. And the story after that was set pieces and the massive height advantage for T2.
Well, I always think that set pieces, they're a leveler. No matter the difference in leagues, a difference in standings with teams, that when you get a set piece, all of a sudden you put the ball in and see what can come of it. And we see a towering header by Manning.
Anthony Manning, the first goal, the second one off the head of the other 6'4" center back, Renico Clark, and it was Taylor Pay who finished.
Clark does so well to get up early, and as he does, knocks it down. Pay, who's screening the goalkeeper, gets the first touch out of his feet on the half turn and puts his foot right through it to blast it into the net.
So it's 3-1 at halftime. Ross, for these guys, 22, 23 years of age on Portland Timbers 2, must have been a dream first half.
Yeah, but I think Jay Vidovich, Andrew Gregor, Steve Reese, they'll be in there right now saying to the players, keep your head. This is a great result, but I tell you what's a better result? This in another 45 minutes. And so he's telling those players, be professional about it, but go and express yourself the way they've done. They know their confidence is up. They know the back line for Newcastle. They're a little bit wary whenever there's a set piece, knowing the towering figures are coming in there. And so they'll be a little bit nervous on this Premiership side, but it's important that the T2, they keep their head, they put in a professional second half.
These Portland Timbers 2 players may be the future of the organization on the first team side, the Portland Timbers, who are in the thick of the Western Conference playoff race and another big match against another Western Conference favorite on Saturday night, FC Dallas. Timbers in 5th place, but 3 points behind the leaders, FC Dallas. It's a 6 o'clock start in Frisco, Texas. You can watch the match on Root Sports or listen on 750 and 102.9 The Game. Dallas, always an interesting team, Ross. They start out flying in every season. Took a little dip. They went winless in 6 not that long ago, but they've won 4 straight and they're back on a roll.
Yeah, they're in a good stretch. And for me, I think the Timbers has been one of the most athletic teams. A team that can rival is Dallas. There you look at players like Mauro Diaz, you look at Fabian Castillo. Those two are one of the deadliest combinations at the moment right now in the league, and the confidence is up. And to play at Frisco, to play on their home ground, they enjoy playing there in front of their fans. So for the Timbers to go there, but you got to keep in mind, final game of the season last year, Timbers went in there, they had to win to put pressure on Vancouver, and they put in a fantastic performance. So they'll be using that, thinking of having those good feelings going against Dallas, thinking, can we turn things around? Can we start getting back to our winning ways?
Also beat FC Dallas here at Providence Park earlier this season. Should be a good one on Saturday night, and hopefully a good 45 minutes here at Providence Park as Portland Timbers 2 tries to continue its lead against English Premiership side Newcastle United. 3-1 at halftime for the young boys from T2. When we come back, second half kick at halftime. Portland Timbers 2-3, Newcastle United 1.
Have to have it. Tee it up. Shot on target. What a goal. Thorns looking to cross. Let's go. In front. Clear. Right at the keeper. And then Christian puts it away.
If you have fun, you will win. And you'll make me very, very happy.
It's not far now.
Dad, where is this park?
Looks kind of closed.
Make summer fun with a Mini Cooper Countryman for $1.99 a month and $44.80 due at signing at Mini of Portland.
You don't need a little black dress, or fancy reservations, or even an apron. All you need for this gourmet meal is a preheated oven and a comfy spot on the couch. Home-baked Papa Murphy's Herb Chicken Mediterranean Delight with fresh spinach, chicken, feta, and sun-dried tomatoes on a crispy thin crust. Just $10 for a large. Fresh made, fresh baked. Papa Murphy's. Love at 425 degrees.
Welcome back to Providence Park. Portland Timbers 2, a 3-1 lead over Newcastle United at halftime. We're almost ready for the second half kick. Wholesale changes certainly expected for Newcastle United in their final leg of their United States trip in the preseason. Jake Ziven alongside Ross Smith. We will try to get you the updated substitutions for Newcastle United as we can. There's not doing a traditional substitution method here during this friendly, so we'll do our best. Ross, 45 minutes left. You talked about it at halftime. T2 wanting to finish off this result, keep the good feelings going for the rest of this match. What do they need to do in the second half against a team that's going to have some fresh legs out there?
Finish the way you finish the second half, you start finish the way the first half, you start the second half, and that goes with the energy, with the confidence up. That first 15 minutes of the second half is so important to make sure that you keep the levels.
Adam Armstrong, he's into the match to begin the second half. Ayose Perez up top as well remains in the match. We know Gabriel Obertan is in as well for Newcastle United. A new keeper at halftime, Freddie Woodman, the 18-year-old, has come on for Newcastle United in place of Carl Darlow. No changes yet for Portland Timbers 2, but we certainly expect many of them. T2 has a much bigger bench tonight than Newcastle United, just 6 on the bench for the Premiership side. 9 on the bench for T2. Unlimited substitutions in this friendly, though. Head coach of T2, Jay Vidovich, did tell me that they are going to only be allowed to sub at 3 different times. They don't want too many stoppages in this match, but they can sub as many people as they want during those 3 substitution breaks. Gabriel Obertan just into the match. Gets it back inside the 18. Going at Taylor Pay. Lays it off. A chance for Newcastle just wide. Johan Gouffran.
It was a bright start for Newcastle United as Obertan goes infield, looks to get his foot on the ball, and as he finds it to Gouffran coming on, I thought he could have hit it first time. Decides to take a touch. By that time was enough for a Timbers player to get close to affect the shot.
Daryl Janmark is in the match. Some much needed height on the back line for Newcastle. Daryl Janmark, 6'1". Newcastle's player of the year last season. You do want to keep in mind that these 3 T2 goals, especially the 2 off set pieces, came against a Newcastle team that was playing without certainly its top choice back line. Nice moves, but a heavy touch there. And we are almost ready for our first substitution of the match. For Portland Timbers 2, it's going to be Justin Luthi coming in for Jake Gleason. Wait a moment on that substitution. Gleason will take the goal kick. Gleason's played quite well tonight, Ross. Didn't have too much to do. after the first goal, where we thought maybe he might be facing heavy fire the whole match, but did come up with that big save to keep it 1-1.
Yeah, he's commanded his box well. He's been decisive. Any decision that he's been called upon, he's come out and he's done it well.
Obertan plays through Adam Armstrong. Taylor Pay blocked it. But Pay has had himself a match. Scored the goal. And I think has played well defensively.
Yep. Again, he's a player that's grown into the match, and Gleason coming out to stay big. I think it was coming off Gleason's foot in the end. He's made a good decision on cue, and we were just chatting about him to come out and force a decision by the Newcastle United player first before reacting.
And not a bad way to leave the match. Not a bad final moment for Jake Gleason, who gets a nice hand as he comes off the pitch. Justin Luthi, the new keeper for Timbers 2. Played for the Timbers under-23 team in the PDL last season. 2013 graduate of Boston College, has appeared in 2 matches for T2. And a giveaway. Luthi, first touch, was secure.
Obertan coming on the right side for Newcastle. He's looked lively, he's looked bright early. He's a player I remember watching as he came onto the scene with Manchester United as a youngster and coming across to Newcastle United, but he was an exciting player. As a winger, when he gets his foot on the ball, he's looking to be direct. He's got a trick in him.
Here's Obertan again. Low cross. Armstrong got a touch to it first, laid it off, and then blasted high. Newcastle coming out of halftime looking pretty lively.
Yeah, well, Armstrong has done well early on to push that line deep, to make those runs, and when it does, that gap has been forming just on the edge of that box on 2 occasions now. Just not enough to steer that ball on target. For me, should have done better.
Rolando Aarons played left back in the first half, has moved up to an attacking winger role in the second half. And Taylor Pay stands him up, and that's out for a goal kick. This game's got to be a confidence booster for Taylor Pay. Made his MLS starting debut against Philadelphia a week and a half ago, a 3-0 loss for the Timbers on the road. I imagine a match like this is going to help him out.
Well, right the way through for every single player, something to draw on, something that you take only the positives away from. And for Taylor Pay, what stood out to me, aside from his goal tonight, is 1v1 defending.
He's played both right back and center back this year. Right back for the Timbers in MLS play, but center back a little bit for T2, which was his position in college. We saw him play 90 minutes at center back 48 hours ago against Whitecaps FC2.
Well, you mentioned about being able to rotate different positions, but
now Anderson coming forward, has Belmar and Fatau in the box, lays it off for Michael Nanchoff. Nanchoff has served up 2 balls that led to goals tonight and gets brought down. He'll have another chance on a free kick here.
And Nanchoff getting on the ball. He's very technical, very tidy, can twist and turn, can get out of areas, and in that occasion was enough just to shift the ball enough to draw the foul.
So Pay, Manning, and Clark will come back into the box, the towering defenders for Portland Timbers 2. Manning scored the second goal off a set piece in a free kick in a very similar spot in the first half. Clark and Pay combined off a corner kick for the third goal.
Important for Newcastle United to keep that line till the last second before you drop, knowing that you have the big man coming into the fray.
Nanchoff again to the back post. This time Woodman, the keeper, off his line to punch it out for a corner. Woodman coming off his line, something that Carl Darlow didn't do in the first half.
Well, it was reminiscent of the first half of the goal where Darlow decided to stay on his line. To his credit, the ball was a bit more direct than what we have just seen, with Willon making a good decision to come out. He had a bit more time to come out and force the punch.
Nanchoff, this one to the back post. Went over the head of Clark and set it cleared by Newcastle. Anderson is dispossessed by Aarons. It's a great touch from Perez in the midfield. Here comes Newcastle.
And that touch by Perez is something we were expecting to see a bit more of from the Premiership side, is to be able to get out of tricky situations, to show a bit of skill, perhaps consistent moments like that, which have been missing.
Is that a preseason thing, do you think, rust?
I think it is. It's a combination of finding your touch, but also understanding of the movement of the players coming off of you. And you see Perez, as that ball comes in, no question in his mind where the movement is. And so that's that recognition to go along with the sharpness in your touch and movement.
Jose Perez from Spain will turn 22 next week. Newcastle's Young Player of the Year last year when he scored 7 goals in the Premiership. And he's going to run onto a ball now behind Andy Toma. As Adam Armstrong in the box. Cuts past Toma.
Credit to Toma, he did well to recover. There's all kinds of space in behind.
That's good combination now from Newcastle. Biggie Romana. Clark sends it clear. A little rust maybe from Daryl Janmark.
Big Romana does well to get him behind as he finds a way through, but Clark's positioning, just get him in between the 2 sticks. He sees there's an opening there, gets himself facing away from goal, so the body position is right.
Again, Belmar causing problems. That part of his game has translated tonight against a Premiership side. Anderson, Belmar is down, and T2 is going to have a free kick in a very dangerous spot. Again, Carlton Belmar's pace, his work rate, causing problems for Newcastle.
Got himself into a good area. Belmar just on the edge of the box. He was looking just to pop it up, to bounce it off of Belmar and run around the other side. But I think after he's knocked the ball, he's taken a knock.
And now a fantastic chance for Michael Nanchoff. We know he can hit it from here. We know he can put this on frame.
You gotta think in the mind, he's lining up. He's just going over, and in his mind, just the occasions earlier where he's putting a good ball in, but now looking more towards the goal, to turn from provider to goal scorer.
Vital comes over now. He probably wants a crack at it as well. Quite a scenario for these Timbers 2 youngsters, standing over the ball 22 yards away. It's Nanchoff. It's off the crossbar. Follow up. Still in the box, and Woodman falls on it. So close from Michael Nanchoff.
I just wondered, did this go in? Michael Nanchoff says to Vital, you hold on there, let me take this one. And as the ball comes off the crossbar, linesman makes a good no call by allowing play to continue on, and fortunate enough for Woodman, comes out eventually to collect and smother the danger.
We've seen Michael Nanchoff score goals from there. He seems to only score the spectacular goal. How many times have we seen, whether it be a volley in the U.S. Open Cup? He scored a fantastic one earlier, this one for for T2 in USL play. Obertan sends it across. Armstrong just couldn't handle it, and it's cleared by Toma. Scored a free kick very similar to that one in the preseason this year as well. The Timbers' first match of the year against Sporting Kansas City down in Tucson, Arizona.
He's got wonderful technical ability. A fine technician that can pick out a pass that when he gets set up, he can 9 out of 10 times put it exactly where he wants. He's got the pinpoint precision.
Nanchoff, of course, played for Timbers head coach Caleb Porter at Akron. One of the many former Akron players in Major League Soccer. 2 goals this season for T2. Has played 3 times for the Timbers. He's on the ball again. Great back heel to Gianderson. Gianderson will line one up from distance. Woodman goes down, makes the save. After an early flurry in the second half from Newcastle, again, it's T2 that's really grabbed control.
really growing him more and more into this second half, and it's a good indication with their movement. And Gianderson, they're getting the ball out of his feet.
Pay takes a touch, ends up going into the path of Aarons. Aarons put it through the legs of Pay, but he recovered well enough. Not a nutmeg if you don't get it back.
Again, I'm impressed with the urgency from the Timbers. Even in that situation where the ball's knocked through the legs of Pay, the desire and the energy for him to turn around to make sure that no way that ball was getting away from him.
This is a guy that played 90 minutes 48 hours ago at center back for T2 against Whitecaps FC2.
We talked about what this means to the players, and that's a chance for a benchmark to impress and to see the gauge of where you stand against top players. A chance to impress first team coach.
Foshive wins the ball. T2 has numbers forward, too many, and there were two forward there in an offside spot.
But as well, it's an opportunity for you. You never know who's watching. I remember going to see an FA Cup match, Yetting against Newcastle United at QPR in Shepherd's Bush in London.
Fatau trying to get behind the Newcastle back line, and the flag was up.
Just drifted offside, but go back to that match a few years ago, and there was a young player, DJ Campbell, playing in that match. Was on about 50 pounds a week. The next thing you know, his career just took off. He went into Birmingham, and from there, from that one match where he impressed, all of a sudden, say Birmingham have seen him, probably many other clubs have said, right, you're coming with us. You're turning full-time pro, and here's a bit of money to go with it.
Quite an opportunity for these young guys, and they've stepped up. They've embraced this night, and as we've talked about, Ross, it didn't have to go that way when they went down in the 6th minute, 1-0. This team, tired legs for T2. They played 48 hours ago. You wondered what might happen to this match. They certainly didn't lose confidence from that point. Put in 3 in the first half.
I think a big part of it has been their energy around the pitch and their organization. Difficult to break down, and then their energy and the determination in this situation. We see Beasler, they're relentless, and they're unwilling to let Newcastle get away from them.
This could be a 3-on-2 now for T2. Anschoff leading the break. Has Gianderson on the right. Plays it to him. Gianderson's onside. Cuts it back. Shoots. It's blocked. Pops into the air. Maybe Foshive can run onto it. He can't. And Newcastle did well to deal with that.
Two things. That Nanchop, he should have played the ball earlier, but when it did go in, Gianderson should have hit it first time. Instead of cutting back to his favorite left foot, gave the defender a chance to recover. Should have taken it on.
He scored 1 goal this year for Timbers 2, and it was with his right foot. Didn't have quite the confidence at that moment to hit it. Aarons turns. And it's out for a goal kick. Aarons thought he was fouled.
It was a bit clumsy by Manning in the end, but the referee didn't see anything in it. Did well at first to keep pace with Aarons.
Here comes Taylor Pay. Already a goal today, playing with a lot of confidence. Brought down from behind. And another restart coming for T2. And the first yellow card of the match. It's Jose Perez, I believe. Rather, Mehdi Abid shown the yellow card. And here we are again, Ross. A free kick for T2. Again, it's Nanchoff. Again to the back post, and Woodman comes off. Fumbled it a little. Freddie Woodman, 18 years old, son of Newcastle's goalkeeping coach, Andy Woodman, a youth international for England, is yet to play in a competitive match for Newcastle. 18, quite young, of course, for a goalkeeper. Tim Krul, Newcastle's #1 keeper, not in the squad tonight. Did start their first 2 matches on this U.S. trip. We were talking before the match how we wanted to see him possibly, if this game goes to penalty kicks, which if it is tied after 90 minutes, it'll go immediately to penalty kicks. So he's a penalty kick specialist. You might remember from the 2014 World Cup. Tim Krul came on for the Netherlands in their quarterfinal against Costa Rica just a moment before the PK shootout was going to start. Ended up saving 2 and sending the Netherlands through to the semifinals. Speaking of international competition, Rundell Winchester up with Blair Gavin near the 4th official. Winchester came back from the Gold Cup where he was with Trinidad and Tobago last night, got back at 1:30 a.m., got into town, but obviously chomping at the bit to play in this match.
Don't think it would take a second thought from him coming back. You want a game? You want to get involved with Newcastle United? Yeah. I think my legs will be okay.
T2 will make its first 2 substitutions of the match. Blair Gavin will come in for Fatau, and Rundell Winchester will come on for Carlton Belmar. Fatau and Belmar, 2 of the young pieces of this Timbers 2 attack. What did you make of their play tonight?
Yep, energetic. I think they imposed themselves well in the game, whereas Fatau coming in and operating down that left side. He got the first goal, found the way back into the match for his T2 team, and Belmar willing to run and beyond, willing to stretch. I think he was a problem for his entire shift tonight for the back line, and you can only think that back 4 will be happy to see him go off.
Newcastle now making a sub as well. Vernon Anita comes on for Mehdi Abid. Second time that Vernon Anita has played here at Providence Park. He was a member of the Ajax team that came here in 2011. Actually had an assist in a 2-0 Ajax win against the Timbers in the MLS side. It has been a different story tonight for Anita's team. Adam Armstrong showing off his speed to get to that ball.
What pace that was, the way he closed down. That's when I talk about wanting to see glimpses of another level. We haven't seen enough of it tonight from Newcastle, but in that instance, the way he just ate up the ground.
Adam Armstrong, just 18 years old. Youngest player to ever represent Newcastle in the Premiership, was 17 years old, 33 days when he made his debut in March of 2014 from Newcastle. Gabriel Oberton has Armstrong in the box, plays it to him. Armstrong takes a touch, tough angle, back to Biggie Romana, to the back post for Aarons. Pay got his head on it, got it clear.
A fantastic header that was from Pay, getting himself back in the back stick in the danger area. So as the balls come in, he's rose up, able to get away the danger.
Blair Gavin into the match for T2, the captain for Timbers 2. Normally, not tonight, Michael Nanchoff wearing the armband. He's been in some fine goal-scoring form, Blair Gavin. 3 goals in his last 6 USL matches. He had a lengthy MLS career, 4 years, a good length, I should say, MLS career. Played in 45 matches in Major League Soccer. He scored 3 goals. He's scored 3 in his last 6 for Timbers 2. Playing in a more advanced attacking role. Attacking center midfielder spot for Timbers 2 this year. More of a box-to-box midfielder naturally is Gavin. Oh, what a nutmeg from Michael Nanchoff. Winchester held up his run as he was in an offside position. T2 playing with confidence against a Premier League team.
Yeah, a good bit of skill for them to break free and try and get in behind, but in the end, Winchester just didn't time his run right. Good bit of composure here from the T2 side, keep the ball.
Anderson, guy who's certainly always up for the moment, up for a little bit of flair, flicking that ball over his defender and then does it again. And he gets it back, draws a foul. Never afraid.
Yeah, nice bit of invention that was. It nowhere really to go, able to find just a nice little scoop. Go on the other side. In the end, referee blows up for a handball.
The 23-year-old Brazilian Anderson plays with some of that Brazilian flair. Primarily considered a left back, but he's been playing on the right wing tonight in the attack for Timbers 2. As we've been talking about throughout this match, another one of the guys showing off his versatility. Winchester turns, plays it into the corner for Anderson. Puts it on his left foot, drives it into the box. Beasler making a run on the back post. Nick Beasler, the rookie, his first goal for Portland, and it is 4-1. If you had told someone, Ross, this match was going to be 4-1 in the 70th minute, nobody would believe you if you said it was T2 that had the lead.
Yeah, well, it opened up nicely for T2 as Anderson does well to work down the right side, gets it onto his favorite left foot. Beasler, he was just pulling off the back stick. As that ball comes in, Beasler gets himself in a good area. Biggie Romana has no idea about Beasler coming in at that back stick. He just throws the leg at it, but it's not enough. And you just think in that situation, get contact, get over the ball. And Beasler does well just to get on top, to head it down, as Windman stands no chance.
The 5th overall pick in the Super Draft, younger brother of U.S. men's national team center back Matt Beasler, looking a little bit like his older brother, maybe looking like a center back finishing with his head. And Newcastle just off as they have been really all night.
They've been surprisingly open all night, and when the Timbers have put the balls in behind, and finding that space, crosses into the box, we've seen it. It's been such a thorn in the Newcastle side all night long.
We've talked about the height difference. Nick Beasler, not considered, you don't think of him as a big guy, but he is 6'1". It has been quite a showing in the air from Timbers 2 tonight.
It was a fine ball by Anderson to go at the back stick, and as a defender, you're close to your goal, you're scrambling back, you don't know what's behind you, as we saw in that situation, and Beasler just coasting in, completely unmarked.
If you're T2 now, Ross, you just got to be flying, right? I mean, for these young guys, what does this mean?
It means everything. I think it's right now enjoying the moment, enjoying the situation, continue on. At the end of the day, there's no points up for grabs, but you want to join in, you want to be part of the fun. I think going forward, you look back on matches like this, and when you go up against teams in your league, you think, let's replicate the standard that we showed. We were able to show this level against the Premiership side, so why can't we do that week in, week out? Be able to get positive results on a consistent basis.
It's a bit of a different side for Newcastle tonight than the one that faced Sacramento Republic on Saturday. But they beat Sac Republic, the defending USL champions, 1-0. And for Timbers 2, who play at the same level as Sacramento Republic, the USL, to do this to a team, it's got to give the squad confidence moving forward in the USL. It's regular season, and they're in the midst of a playoff hunt with 10 games to go.
Yeah, as we touched on, you use this as a memory, as a vote of confidence when you go into these matches, when you're playing against players which, no disrespect, but they're not at the standard of a Newcastle team. Perhaps not there just yet in some of their minds and the egos, as they hopefully want to push on as far as they can in their footballing careers, but we use that as a confidence. Well, we did it against Newcastle, we should be doing it against other USL sides.
I don't think there's any disrespect by saying a USL side is not at the same level as a Premiership side.
Yeah, in respect to Newcastle, you talk about the standard and level of play, and you go back through the years with the legends of an Esprit, of an Alan Shearer, Kevin Keegan, and you think, well, there's going to be quality there.
There's some quality from Gabriel Oberton, holding on to the ball in the box, lays it off for Biggie Romana. T2 confident, calm in the defending, and George Foshive strong in the defensive midfield. Nanchoff trying to spring Winchester behind, just a little too far ahead.
And Nanchoff, he's all over the game at the moment in terms of being involved, getting his foot on the ball, creating chances for his team, and there he just hit the ball too far in an advanced position. You can get an idea of what he was looking for, just to caress that ball in behind the back line to allow Winchester to run on.
Aarons over to the right side. Armstrong tried to back heel, and again defended well by T2. And again, Foshive in the defensive midfield, getting out of a tight spot. Newcastle United starts its Premier League season on August 9th. Does this affect them at all going forward in their preparation for the season?
No, I think like any football, it affects you for a day or so, but then once you get back on the training ground, it's gone out the mind.
Biggie Romana, cross in. Oh, what a fantastic goal from Rolando Aarons. A bicycle kick, some of that special quality from a Premiership side that we've been looking for tonight, and we get it in the 75th minute.
Well, there's a bit of quality that we've been looking for a bit more often from the Newcastle side, and it comes by way of Aarons, who finds himself back to goal. First touch, pops up in the air, but he's got the ability to get his body around it as he drops to the ground. Left peg, got it in behind the T2 netminder. Fantastic bit of innovation.
Worth the price of admission by itself. So if you're a Timbers fan, as Newcastle has made a substitution, Siem de Jong into the match, Johan Gofran is out. Taylor Pay making a big run forward, the right back, finally gets stopped. If you're a Timbers fan coming to this match, you've seen something phenomenal, which you certainly wanted to see from a Premier League side, and you have your team up 4-2. You couldn't be much better than how this match has gone.
Well, I think, yep, if you're a T2 fan, but coming to the ground tonight, you've seen a lot of Newcastle kits coming in, so they're going to be a little bit worried, a little bit disappointed in terms of the performance tonight, but worried in terms of, well, what's this team going to turn out for the season?
Still time, of course, for Newcastle to get a result in this friendly. Aarons, he wants another, and he has another. 2 goals in 2 minutes for Rolando Aarons, and now it's 4-3.
Well, that's a quick reminder to the T2 side that this Premiership team can go up another level. And we see it. It's a good strike. But for Meat Luthi, he's got to do better. He's come out from goal to cut down the angle. It's gone through his hands. He's got to have stronger hands there to keep the ball out.
There's some members of the Toon Army. They like what they've seen the past few minutes at least. 19 years old, Rolando Aarons. Born in Kingston, Jamaica, moved to England as a child, plays for England and the youth international level. Was named their Academy Player of the Year last season, 2015. You can see why.
Yeah, well, too much time and space on the ball. It's good contact, good power, but the same Luthi is gone straight down the middle, straight through his hands.
Newcastle pushing for an equalizer, and they're going to have a fantastic chance at one. About 23 yards out from goal as Nick Beasler is shown a yellow card.
It's almost as though Newcastle have decided to play. And now getting on the ball, getting numbers forward, the quality when they're in possession.
What took them so long? 75th minute when they finally get it going. Just that spark from Aarons.
Sometimes you need that bit of quality, and then it's a reminder, okay, well, we should be playing at a different level from this T2 side, and we've got that other gear. Why aren't we going up to it? And once you find it, then it's okay, continue to accelerate.
Correction on the yellow card. George Foshive shown the yellow a moment ago for Timbers 2. Aarons sitting on a hat trick is over the ball. I think he's going to take this, I'd say. It's probably going to be him. And it won't be. And Luthi parries it over the bar. It was Siem de Jong right at Luthi, but he did have to make the save.
The save is tougher than the one that he missed a few moments ago because that ball is swirling. It's gone over the wall. It's dipping. It's moving. And he does well just to make sure that ball goes out for a corner.
Luthi punches this clear. Gavin couldn't control, and it's still there for Newcastle. Chip back in to the back post. Played out for a goal kick.
Well, Perez, he's looked like he wants to get involved tonight. He looks like he wants to create and to get on the ball. A few instances when it wasn't coming off, you can see him getting frustrated with his teammates and expecting more.
You can certainly see the potential that Newcastle so excited about Perez, why he was named their Young Player of the Year last season. Aarons as well, their Academy Player of the Year. Anderson juggles on the touchline, gets in between two Newcastle players. And for Shive, a back heel. And here comes Anderson. He's brought down, play on, says Levi Rippey.
Not sure whether the Timbers would have wanted the advantage.
And they're still playing now. Winchester. He'll try it. Curls it wide. He was with the Trinidad and Tobago national team in the Gold Cup, but didn't play in their 4 matches. It's been a while since he's been in a competitive match. Got back at 1:30 in the morning this morning. Plenty of time to get in. Another one of the young guys on this Timbers 2 team that has the organization, I think, excited about his future. Just 21 years old. Obertan. De Jong. Perez. De Jong back to Perez. Clark got there first. And it's going to be a corner kick. Clark got a touch. And a foul called by Levi Rippey, who overrules his assistant referee. 81st minute, Ross. If you're T2, how much emphasis do you place on holding on to this lead and getting a result?
Yeah, you do want the result because that's what you remember in the end. Years down the line, you look back and you can say, we beat Newcastle United. Holds a lot more weight in terms of telling your stories to others instead of saying we drew them. So, yeah, you do want to see what you can do. And also, it's practice. It's practice for seeing a game out. At 4-3, you get another 5 minutes on, 6 minutes on, you look to start to go to the corners and kill the game.
Luthi gives this one back to Newcastle. You can always say we went up 4-1 on Newcastle United, but the story does end a little better if the game ends.
And the story becomes a bit more long-winded if you have to explain instead of saying we beat them.
Newcastle persistent, looking for the equalizer. Winchester has Nanchoff making a run. Said plays wide to Toma. Toma, he's speedy, but can't get by Biggie Romano. Did get it back. And plays back safely to Manning.
Well, there's a part of Toma's play I enjoy watching is when he wants to join in and get one-on-one. He's got good pace, a lovely left foot. We haven't seen a lot of it tonight, but to give credit to him, he has looked after his defensive responsibilities.
Perez one-on-one on Taylor Pay, curls it. Luthi goes down and makes the save. But getting back to Andy Toma, he has been surprisingly dangerous coming forward in the attack down the middle of the pitch of late for T2, has 2 assists after getting forward down the middle of the pitch, kind of in a playmaking role. He's been playing on the right side for T2, and as a left-footed player, he naturally wants to cut inside when he comes forward. And in recent matches at Merlo Field, T2 scored 2 goals after Toma's made runs right up the middle of the pitch. Nick Beasler has scored a goal tonight. His first goal while wearing a Timbers shirt. A 5th round pick of the 2015 Super Draft. Janmark cuts inside. Center back making a run into the box. And he sends it wide, but took a deflection. So it's a corner kick for Newcastle.
Nice bit of play by the center back, Janmark. Coming in, creating a chance.
Michael Nanchoff has played provider tonight. 1 assist. Hit another corner kick that set up a goal. D2 trying to hold on now in the 85th minute. 1-goal lead in this friendly match against Premiership side Newcastle United. Orlando Aarons has brought Newcastle back into this match pretty much, not quite single-handedly, but he scored 2 goals to make it 4-3. Janmark curls that on net. Luthi had to backpedal.
Yep, in the end, comfortable for Luthi. He got his feet back and set on the line as Janmark doesn't quite get the direction he was hoping for on the cross.
Another restart coming for Newcastle. The 15,069 here in attendance at Providence Park, getting a little antsy as they want T2 to hold on. But it has been pressure from Newcastle for the past 10 minutes or so. Manning slipped. Clark had to recover and help him get it clear. Janmark, member of the Netherlands World Cup team, looking for Aarons, but it's a goal kick.
There's been a lack of cohesion from the Newcastle side, and situations that we've just seen Janmark, he's tried to play a diagonal and it's nowhere near in the end. Taylor Page just ushers it out. They haven't been clicking Newcastle, which I think many fans coming here tonight, we thought they'd have the majority of the possession, that they would cause all kinds of problems for T2.
It's been fairly even going forward. Certainly of late, Newcastle has been the better team, controlling the ball more.
In this last spell, but I think I would argue for Jay Vidovic's side after the first 5-10 minutes that they were the better team until Newcastle now finding a way back in the game with a couple of goals.
Scoreline would certainly agree. Still time left for Newcastle. Toma steps up to send it out. Ferguson into the box. Clark gets it clear.
T2 are doing a good job of getting their men and just watching as the ball goes wide to see the runs of the Newcastle players. Armstrong, he came out of the goal area to try and connect in a pass. And that's a player that at first he looked dangerous with his pace, and as Newcastle were threatening behind, but I have to give credit to T2. They've adjusted. They've made sure that that ball going in behind, that the space isn't as available as what was before. It's closing down on player picking the head up, trying to look for that ball, and it's making sure that you are dropping those extra couple of yards.
Clark tries to play it to the corner. Goes right back to Newcastle, but now Pay can control as T2 will certainly try to possess and kill off this clock. No call. Here comes Aarons. Has some pace, certainly has some goal-scoring ability. And it's out for a T2 throw.
Look, Aarons has done well to perhaps get quiet there. Just wondered if that was a foul. Trailing leg that just sent him over.
Steve McLaren thought so. Some noticeable frustration on the Newcastle bench. Guy like him, of course, he's going to be competitive, even in a preseason match, wanting a result. Newcastle gets away from the pressure and now will come forward, still looking for an equalizer, now into the 90th minute. Biggie Romani, Toma breaks it up and just gets it clear. And then Winchester takes it away. A lovely touch from Rondo Winchester. Well, he tried for goal. Took a little too long maybe as he tried to lay out for Gavin, but wins a corner. That's good work from Rondo Winchester.
Well, he created his own opportunity, and it's reminiscent of the first goal where Colton Belmar has harassed the two centre-backs and Dennis Winchester forces a mistake. I just thought he should have been more selfish as he works it into a good area, center of the goal, 18 yards out, shift the ball, go for a strike on goal, force the defender to either get a block, better yet, you get a screen.
Might as well. Don't know if he'll ever get a better chance against a Premiership side. T2 now trying to kill the match as we're into stoppage time. 3 minutes of stoppage time shown. T2, 3 more minutes to hold on and get what would certainly be a confidence-boosting, friendly win for the side. Oberten trying to turn Toma. Plays it into the box for Armstrong. Back to goal. And it's sent clear by Manning.
Tell you what, Clark and Manning have did so well in that instance because Oberten, the space was behind. They quickly stepped. Armstrong was looking to spring in, but it forced Armstrong to have to come back on his run before going again. And by that time, Oberten put his head down. Opportunity went.
Vernon Anita. Oberten. Again, going at Andy Toma. Low cross. And again, it was Manning that dealt with it for T2. Sent back in by Newcastle. Brought down. Pay recovered after making, I think, a mistake misreading that ball initially. He recovered and played it out for a corner.
Well, he's had such a strong performance tonight, and it's recovered well because at first he slipped. As he went to close down to win the first ball, it's enough for De Jong to get away, but he's recovered.
Maybe one of the final chances for Newcastle, and Gianderson sends it clear. T2 from the 3rd division of American soccer, the USL, trying to hold on to a lead over a Premiership side in its preseason. But still a team from the Premier League, the best league arguably in the world. Oberten to the back post. Can Pay get it clear? No one can get ahead to it. Gianderson sends it towards midfield.
Decent ball by Oberten just to stand it up at the back stick. But Pay again making sure that he's enough of a nuisance that no Newcastle player can get a free header.
And now Pay's going to come forward. Just didn't get enough on that ball, touching it to Gianderson. Aarons tries to find Armstrong, who got there first, but got Toma first. And a foul called on Adam Armstrong. And this could just kill off the match.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a tweak there from Toma, but Mikey Nanchoff using his experience saying, take your time, no rush.
Maybe time for one more push forward for Newcastle. Overton tries to get around Toma, is unable to. And that's it, the final whistle from Levi Rippey. Portland Timbers 2 have beat Premiership side Newcastle United 4-3 tonight at Providence Park. Certainly the best result in the young history of this T2 side. Friendly or not, a night that these young T2 players will always remember. We spoke about that story, Ross, and how it would end. It ends in quite a good manner for T2.
Yeah, lovely moment for those players as they go around, shake hands, perhaps a few jersey swaps as it goes on. And again, a friendly for them, an occasion for them to take with them in the coming weeks when they go back into their season, to use this as a gauge of the standard they can play, and to think we should be turning over other USL teams if we continue to play at this level.
If you're a T2 player, certainly a result that'll give a lot of confidence. Observing this result from afar, from up above, what do you take from this performance, Ross?
I take players, just the feeling of them with the occasion of the stadium, with the crowd, with the Newcastle United, with the viewership going on, them being able to handle this situation. And that's what will impress Jay Vudovic tonight, is the mentality of his players to go down 1-0 and to find a way back into the match, and then to impose themselves on the Newcastle side at one point, 4-1. It's impressive.
T2 wins 4-3. The third goal for T2 tonight, courtesy of Taylor Pay. Taylor Pay joins us right now. Taylor, what was that moment like, getting a goal against a Premiership side?
I mean, it's awesome. Anytime you score, it's fun. So it was a good experience.
Taylor, what was it like for you coming out? The 1v1 situation, it looks like, as you always do, take a lot of pride, but certainly against a Newcastle side who play what is arguably one of the top leagues in the world. 1v1, very solid tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. Anytime you get a challenge, especially from a team like this and players like that, it's good. So it was fun.
What do you guys as a group take from this match going forward?
Just that we can, we played well, and when we come and play, we do well, we're happy with ourselves. So tonight, it was a good game for us.
Thanks, Taylor. Congrats on the goal. Congrats on the win.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Taylor Pay, one of the goal scorers tonight, Ross, for T2. And I think he played quite well. The whole back line, I think we were impressed with tonight.
Very impressed with the way they kept things solid and gave their team that base to go and get forward and to go and search for the goals, but staying nice and solid. Yeah, they allowed a couple of goals in quick succession, but their foundation was nice and firm for the team.
Here's another member of that back line, Anthony Manning. The second goal for T2 tonight. We asked the same question to Taylor, Anthony, but what does it feel like to score against a Premier League side?
It's good. It's my first goal that I got since I've been here. It's a good feeling. The adrenaline rush that you get from it is it's a really good feeling.
Anthony, what was your approach coming out in the first 15 minutes, knowing you're against a Premiership side? What goes through your mind as a centre back as you get your team organized?
Yeah, you just get excited knowing that you get to go against a tough opponent and show what you're really made of. Especially at this point in the season, we're in the middle of the season, and it's kind of like a good standpoint where we're at.
Anthony, it's been 2 months for you coming back from an injury. To come back in this manner with a goal, with a win against Newcastle United, what does that mean to you?
It's a lot for me. It's been a rough 2 months trying to rehab, come back, and get healthy and in shape. That's probably the biggest part of it, is getting in shape so I could show my skills out here.
Thanks a lot, Anthony. Congrats on the win tonight. Go celebrate with your teammates.
Thank you.
Anthony Manning, his first goal as a member of the Portland Timbers organization. A lot of firsts tonight. Taylor Pay, he scored before, did so in the U.S. Open Cup last year, but his first goal as a member of T2. Fatau a goal, Nick Beasler a goal as well. Let's go over the highlights of this match, and they were full of them. Ross, 7 goals tonight, and it started in the 6th minute with Newcastle opening up the score.
Well, again, it was the danger that was coming down the channels, coming down the flanks, where Newcastle putting balls in the box, and they were getting numbers in the area to create problems. Coming down the left side, and they take an early goal lead.
But the response from T2 came almost right away in the 13th minute.
Well, we just wanted Newcastle going 1-0 up. Were they going to continue to roll? But it was the pressure of Belmar and then Fatal following up to level the score for the Timbers to find a way back through.
We just talked to him. There's Anthony Manning scoring on a header off a set piece in the 24th minute, then another set piece in the 30th minute, and this is Taylor Pay's goal.
Well, they were so difficult to deal with on set pieces because of those big men, Anthony Manning and Clark, and the way Taylor Pay screens the goalkeeper there, has enough composure in the mind to steer the ball past the keeper.
So it's 3-1 at halftime. Make it 4-1 in the 70th minute. Nick Beasler, his first goal in Portland.
Again, it's a ball in the box that Timbers are first to, and in that instance, Beasler, he does well just to get over the ball, make sure he's heading it down, that it's not skying over, and just to steer it past for the fourth goal.
75th minute, we got the Premier League special quality that we were waiting for.
Yeah, bit of brilliance this is. As the ball pops up, falls the deck, a nice little bicycle kick, and it's something that we wanted to see more of that we didn't see enough of coming to the stadium tonight. I thought we were going to see all kinds of brilliance, but wasn't to be.
That was Rolando Aarons, who scored in the 75th on the bicycle kick, scored again in the 76th a minute later. But that was all Newcastle could muster. A 4-3 win for T2. George Foshiva, Anthony Manning, certainly probably a happy Gavin Wilkinson tonight as well. The future is bright of the Portland Timbers organization. The next home match for Portland Timbers 2 is on Sunday night. You can see these guys play in a league match, a match that's going to actually count for something, when T2 hosts LA Galaxy to Los Dos, as they are known, at 7 o'clock at Merlo Field. If you want to be there, if you want to catch these guys in person, you can get tickets at timbers2.com. Ross, we talked about it throughout this broadcast, but what does this do to this team going forward now into USL play? 10 matches to go.
Well, I think it gathers attention around the league. If you're looking at it from outside, the people who are here tonight, that when they see that a T2 beat Newcastle, you quickly go to the lineup and you see, well, did Newcastle have some big name players out? When they do, all of a sudden, it's the recognition that this is a strong side. From within, it's the confidence. It's the know that you can go into USL teams, remembering that you turned over a Newcastle side, that you perhaps played up to the level, if not beyond that at certain points in the match, that why can't we do it against the USL team week in, week out?
It was a dream night, certainly, for the young guys of Portland Timbers 2. A 4-3 win over Premiership side Newcastle United in a friendly on a beautiful Tuesday evening in Portland, Oregon. For Ross Smith, for everybody here at Providence Park, I'm Jake Zivin. Have a great night.